Hey guys, Dinosaur here, and after attending YCS Pittsburgh and playing some Genesys, I've got some quick thoughts, and obviously, Radiant Typhoon is about to get pointed into oblivion, so what does that look like for the meta? And, well, today, I think I've got a really cool counter meta pick for you. So at YCS Pittsburgh, I was playing Goaty in the Genesys flights, and I was only able to play one Genesys flight because I stayed in the main event for so long. But I did very well in that flight, and I made it to round 3, which, the top 2 got to play in day 2, and I lost to exactly a Grave of the Super Ancient Organism against Mimigul, which is just a terrible matchup. It was also somebody that I knew from my locals, and they knew exactly what I was doing. But Goaty had a very good matchup into basically everything. My first one was Infernoble, the second one was Jurak Fire King, and I playtested a bunch against Radiant Typhoon, but that deck is about to not really be too playable in Genesys, or at least it's going to get pointed enough that people will stop playing it. So that leaves decks like Jurak Fire King that destroy cards on your field, and what deck wants that? Well, none other than Tistina, of course, which is one of the decks that I think that I'm very, very well versed in. So I've been testing this deck out online and a little bit in person, and it has been performing very, very well to my surprise. So let's get started. Alright, starting off with our Tistina monsters, we have 3 Fallen of the Tistina, 2 Return to the Tistina, 3 Sentinels, 1 Hound, 1 Tainted. I just cannot seem to cut this card. I do side it out often, but holy crap does it sometimes save you a game. For the level 10s, we've got 3 Demigods. You kind of have to play this at least 3. This one's a little bit bizarre. We've got 2 Crystal God Tistinas. Most people have brought this down to 1, but I think in this version and this format, having 2 is just so much better. And then 2 Miasma Dragon Tistinas. You could technically put Miasma up to 3 and cut 1 Crystal God, but I think 2 and 2 is the perfect ratio. I'm going to link to my archetype breakdown of Tistina so you can understand what all of the Tistina cards do, though there is one card that is not in that video, and that is Miasma Dragon Tistina. So this, of course, is a newer card from Duelist Advanced. This is a level 10 Dark Aqua, so that being a dark does hinder your plays just a little bit, but it's also very easy to summon, so it's basically a free level 10 in this deck. If it's normal or special summon, you can add 1 Tistina monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. Also, for the rest of the turn, light Tistina monsters you control gain 1000 attack. This also helps with your OTKs. It makes them, to be honest, a little bit easier because you don't have to do so much setup with, say, Hound and Tainted now. If this card is sent to the graveyard, and a card is in the field zone, so this can be your opponent's field spell as well, you can special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon from the hand or graveyard for the rest of the turn except Tistina monsters. So you're not locked out of anything except, like in the extra deck, it's just hand and graveyard, which can be very important with some of the other cards in this deck. Alright, so now on to the Tistina spells. We've got 2 Play of the Tistina, 2 Breath, and then we've got 3 Divine Domain. This card is extremely important. This is why Miasma Dragon is such a good card. Just showing you some quick ratios for all of the cards that we've gone over so far before I start getting to the rest of the meat of this deck. Alright, so we're going to start off with 3 Speedroid Terratop, 1 Speedroid Takatoon, 2 Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. I will go more in depth on this card, however this could also be Dreaming Reality of Nemlaria Realized, which is a non-target Book of Moon that does something similar, but this card is just more free, so it's why I've been playing it. We have 1 Full Armored XYZ, and then 3, this card, Tokusano Shinkyojin, I believe is how you say it. Either way, it is a draw 2 cards. It's really good. It could get replaced with hand traps if you want. This is just what I found it has been working for me. Now, I can already hear some of you wondering why I'm playing the Forbidden Lord, the GX Legend himself, in this deck, and it's honestly very simple. He is a free level 10 monster that I can just special summon by shuffling all monsters from my graveyard into the deck, but more importantly, when he declares an attack, you can send 1 monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, which means you can actually send a Miasma Dragon from your deck and get your plays started just like that. Like, It's just very interesting and kind of niche, but it has come up before, and I've been loving the fact that Exodius is technically a starter for Tistina. Alright, so starting off the extra deck, we have 2 Tistina, the Divinity that Defies Darkness, 1 Veridris, this is a pointed card, that's why we're only running 1, 1 number 27 Dreadnought Dreadnoid. This card will come up in very, very niche situations. I haven't actually summoned it yet, but in theory, it's there for a reason. We've got the 3 cannons to go with, of course, the Dreadnoughts. So we got your burn cannon, your attack cannon, and then your tower cannon. The tower is extremely important if that's what you summon off of this. If you have to go to the battle phase, at the end of the battle phase, you turn it into this, and now you have an unaffected guy that they're going to have to try and attack to, and then on their next turn, you turn that into this, and you OTK them. We've got number 84 Pain Gainer and 35 Ravenous Tarantula. They come up in niche situations if you have extra level 10s lying around. If you open Exodius and returned in the same hand, you will absolutely be able to summon at least the rank 10. Sometimes you have to go into the rank 11 over the top of a Veridris. Say they activate Ultimate Slayer or something, and you gotta activate your full armored XYZ just to keep a guy on the board, you would go into Ravenous Tarantula then. Or if you just have an extra and it, they're in a spell-based deck, then you would go into that. We've got number XX, Utopic Dark Infinity, Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer. This card has been awesome, just really, really cool. The fact that it has 5,000 attack is just absolutely bonkers. We've got another pointed card that's going to be Totem Bird. And then we've got our XYZ Armor cards, Torpedo Fortress, and then Full Armored Dark Knight Lancer. Alright, very quickly, I'm just going to go over the Speedroid Terratop and Full Armored XYZ combo. So you would start by special summoning Terratop, activating its effect to search Takatamborg. You'd special summon Takatamborg. You'd overlay those 2 into XYZ Armor Torpedo. If you've gotten this far, they don't have Droll, so you activate the effect, detaching the 2 monsters to draw 1 card. Then you overlay Torpedo into Fortress. You activate Fortress's effect, detaching Torpedo, search Full Armored XYZ, and then you pretty much just sit here. So what you're going to do is figure out any way to get to a Sentinel of the Tistina, and that could be one of 11 cards in your deck, either Divine Domain, Fallen of the Tistina, Sentinel of Tistina itself, or Breath of the Tistina plus any normal summon that you could possibly think of. So you would actually just figure out a way to get to Sentinel, put a Sentinel on the board, set your Full Armored XYZ, Sentinel, target your Full Armored XYZ to destroy to search your Tistina cards, and then start your combo from there. Then you're going to overlay your Fortress into Full Armored Dark Knight Lancer. You're going to activate Dark Knight Lancer's effect to add Full Armored XYZ back to your hand so that you can reset it later to XYZ summon on your opponent's turn. I would like to point out that all of this is possible, or at least consistent, because of Miasma Dragon Tistina. Normally, Divine Domain, Fallen Tistina, and sometimes even Breath of the Tistina wouldn't search for a Sentinel, but because of how Miasma Dragon actually works, you absolutely just get to a Sentinel. Most people would take Miasma Dragon and search a Demigod, but I've been searching Sentinel and then using Sentinel to pop the Full Armored XYZ to find Demigod from there, and it's been incredible. Just to go over the quick Tistina playline, from, of course, the Dark Knight Lancer perspective, you found your Sentinel of Tistina. Let's just say in this scenario that you opened the card, so you normal summon it, you pop the XYZ armor, or the Full Armored XYZ. What you're going to search is any Tistina card, and to be honest, you probably want to search Fallen of the Tistina here, because it places your field spell. And then, of course, you return the Full Armored XYZ. Now, you're going to activate Fallen Tistina to place Divine Domain. Divine Domain is then going to send Miasma Dragon Tistina from your deck to the graveyard, and you're going to special summon it. Now, on special summon, you're going to search Demigod of the Tistina here. Now, right here is where your combo can take a different kind of line, just because of what you opened in your opening hand here. Now, of course, if you open 3 hand traps, you're just going to search out Breath of the Tistina, activate it, and get one more Tistina search by flipping your Sentinel face down, and then you're going to use your 2 monsters to create a rank 10. However, if you opened Breath of the Tistina, or Fallen of the Tistina, or any way that you could have avoided 1 search in this combo, you're going to find play of the Tistina, because you either already have breath or, you know, something along those lines. And then you're going to, instead of searching out breath or using one of your searches, you're going to search out Return to the Tistina, and this is going to put that extra level 10 on the board. In this case, you have the play of the Tistina. You're going to use the Return and the Miasma to XZ summon into whichever one you see or you think fits best. Now, this could be the unaffected one, this could be a Veridris. It doesn't matter as long as you can detach the Miasma Dragon Tistina. So I usually go for the towers and do an unaffected, and I set play of the Tistina. Now, this really only works to make the towers if you already have the full armored XYZ stuff. If you didn't do any of that, I would probably just make a Veridris here. But it is the same case scenario. So you're going to create that, set your cards. This is the end of your turn. The next move that we're going to make is going to be during your opponent's draw phase. You're going to activate Super Dora, detaching Miasma Dragon Tistina from it to make itself unaffected by other card effects. Now, you're going to summon Miasma Dragon Tistina from the graveyard, and then you're going to search out Crystal God Tistina. Now, after this, we are just playing the waiting game. Because our zones are full, we aren't doing anything with anything on our board currently, so we want them to either remove one of our monsters, or in a pinch, we're going to full armored XYZ to create a Veridris using Miasma Dragon and Demigod, but hopefully they remove something on our board so we can activate play of the Tistina to summon Crystal God Tistina, so we have our Demigod live for their turn, in which after using, we can full armored XYZ into a Veridris from there. Now, before you go down and comment saying, oh, this clogs up your board, and if your opponent doesn't remove it, then this combo doesn't work, keep in mind that I'm trying to show you the easiest way and the least resource-intensive way to perform this combo. Honestly, sometimes you don't even need to flip a monster face down, therefore Sentinel of Tistina isn't doing anything on your board, and you can remove it yourself via your own actions. Or, say, instead of opening Speedroid, you found the Sentinel of Tistina and opened a Taka Tomborg, and because Sentinel is a level 3 wind, you summon the Taka Tomborg, and now you just are able to remove the Sentinel without having to worry about any of the rest. And I've done this combo so many times where I only end with the 3 monsters on board, and I'm able to create that Miasma Dragon and search the Crystal God and not have to worry about my field being clogged up, just because of how your opening hand is. Real quick, as this is a deck profile video, I'm going to go over the sideboard that I've been using for this deck. We have 1 Snatch Steal. This card is pointed. That is one of the reasons that, or it's kind of just where we're filling in the rest of our points. We have 3 Skullmeisters, 3 Cosmic Cyclones, 3 Dark Ruler No More. We're going to have 3 Jizukirus. Now keep in mind this is a level 10 monster, which is why it's here, and 2 Gamma Seals. I've been loving the Kaijus in Genesys format. This has been honestly super good. If you open both of these, this just counts as a free level 10 on your board. If you open only this and a Snatch Steal, then you get another free level 10 on your board. So it's been honestly really, really cool having the level 10 Kaiju, and everything else should be pretty much self-explanatory. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm honestly fairly passionate about Tistina. I don't think I'm necessarily the authority on it, of course, but like, I really do lab this deck super hard for some reason. I don't know why I like it so much. I think it's just cool. But it's been treating me really, really well in Genesys, especially like the online formats where I have the ability to test against everything and not just a couple of the current meta decks. And honestly, just tell me what you think in the comments. I don't know how much I'm going to change this deck in the coming future other than maybe some sideboard stuff, because it's just working so well for me. So yeah, drop what you think in the comments, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you next time.